Welcome, chosen ones, to this transformative journey. If you've ever felt like you're waiting for something bigger to happen in your life, then you're exactly where you need to be. In today's video, we're diving deep into divine timing, spiritual breakthroughs, and the incredible transformation that awaits you. The universe has aligned this moment for you right now, and everything you've been praying for is closer than you think. So, if you're ready to step into your divine purpose, to unlock the mysteries of your true potential, then make sure you stay with us through the entire video. It's not by accident that you're here. God's plan for your life is unfolding now, and you're about to witness miracles. Chosen one, I want to start by reminding you of something incredibly important. Anxiety is not your calling. I know you've felt the weight of it, that gnawing sense of worry, the way your mind races with questions about the future, about the unknown, about things you can't control. But here's the truth that heaven wants you to embrace today. Peace is your inheritance. It's not just a fleeting emotion that comes and goes. It is your spiritual birthright. And the moment you truly embrace that peace, when you let go of the worry and trust in God's promises, you will step into a divine rhythm, a flow of trust that brings rest to your soul. We all go through seasons when worry feels like a constant companion. Whether it's about your future, your relationships, your finances, or the many unanswered prayers you've been waiting on, worry has a way of sneaking in. It's a natural reaction to feeling like you're losing control of what's happening around you. But here's the thing. Chosen one, worry appears when you try to control what God has already promised to handle. When you try to control everything, when you feel like you need to have all the answers, or when you feel responsible for outcomes that are ultimately in God's hands, that's when anxiety creeps in. Worry is a sign that you're trying to take back what God has already promised to carry. You're stepping out of His peace and into the chaos of trying to fix things that are beyond your control. I know, it's not easy. You've been taught to do it yourself, to fight for control, to push through, no matter the cost. But here's the divine invitation: to let go, to release the need to control, to trust that, even in the silence, even in the uncertainty, God is already working on your behalf. There's a beautiful truth that comes with letting go. God's throne is never moved by your storm. I want you to let that sink in. No matter what chaos you're facing, no matter how loud the storm gets around you, heaven remains still, secure, and at peace. God is not panicking. His voice still whispers peace, even when everything in your world feels uncertain. Stillness is spiritual warfare. When you stop panicking, heaven starts moving. The moment you choose peace, even in the midst of the storm, you invite heaven to work on your behalf. Now, this peace is not the absence of storms. Let's make that clear. Peace is not the absence of storms, but the presence of trust. It's not about waiting for everything to be perfect before you can experience peace. It's about trusting God in the midst of the storm. It's about knowing that no matter what the future holds, no matter what the circumstances are, God is in control. When you trust Him, when you release your worries into His hands, you find peace in the process. Worship restores what worry drains. When you choose to worship in the midst of your anxiety, when you choose to praise God, even when you don't feel like it, something shifts in your spirit. Worry drains your energy, your focus, and your peace. But worship brings your heart back into alignment with God's will. It restores your perspective. It reminds you of His goodness, His faithfulness, and His control over everything in your life. Gratitude opens spiritual vision. The more you focus on what's wrong, the more overwhelmed you'll feel. But the moment you begin to count your blessings, when you shift your focus to the things you're grateful for, it changes your entire outlook. Gratitude shifts your spiritual vision. It opens your eyes to see the goodness of God in your life, even in the midst of trials. It reminds you that, no matter what you're going through, God is still working, still faithful, and still good. And, chosen one, let me tell you something beautiful. Angels are already working behind the scenes while you are waiting. When you release your worry, when you choose peace and trust in God's timing, heaven moves on your behalf. The angels are already working, aligning things, orchestrating situations, and preparing the way for your breakthrough. Your peace is not just for you, it opens the door for heaven to work more powerfully in your life. Letting go activates divine order. When you surrender control, when you choose to trust God instead of worrying, you activate divine order. Everything that feels out of place begins to come into alignment. The timing of your life, the circumstances, and the people around you, they all begin to move in sync with God's will. The moments that felt like delays were actually divine directions. And as you step into peace, you're stepping into the flow of God's perfect timing. Here's the best part. You're not behind schedule. I know it feels like time is slipping away, that you're running out of time, or that you've missed your chance. But I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are right where you need to be. Everything in your life is being realigned perfectly, even when it doesn't feel like it. God's timing is never late. What you see as a delay is actually divine preparation. Everything that you've been through, everything that has happened, has been leading you to this exact moment. The fulfillment of your purpose is not late. It's right on time. Worry will never help you move forward. It may seem like a natural response to difficulty, but it only drains you and keeps you stuck. It prevents you from stepping into the peace and purpose God has for you. But when you choose peace, when you trust that God is in control, you step into a divine flow that moves you forward into the promises He's made. Remember this, chosen one. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Even when the journey seems long, even when the answers seem delayed, God is working behind the scenes. He is aligning everything to fulfill His perfect plan in your life. And when you let go of worry, when you embrace His peace and trust His timing, you will step into the fullness of His promises. Chosen one, you've come so far in your journey. But as you move into this new chapter, I want to encourage you to hold on to something that will bring you peace and strength in every situation. The understanding that your worry doesn't control the outcome. I know, deep down, it can be hard to shake the grip that worry seems to have on your mind. The uncertainty, the unknowns, the things that feel out of your control, they can feel overwhelming. But let me tell you, in this very moment, heaven is inviting you to release that weight. You do not need to carry it any longer. You see, peace is not the absence of the storm, it's the presence of trust. And trust is not just a passive thing, it is a deliberate choice, a conscious decision to let go of the things that you can't control, and to surrender them to God. Worry will always try to pull you back into the cycle of fear and stress, but peace will keep you grounded, calm, and focused on God's promises. Every time you choose peace, you are choosing to trust that God has it under control, and that His timing is always perfect. Worry is an invitation to surrender. Every time you feel that familiar knot in your stomach, every time your mind starts to race with thoughts of what could go wrong, see it for what it is, an invitation to surrender. Worry is the subtle voice that tells you that you're in charge, that you need to figure it all out and fix every problem yourself. But the moment you recognize worry for what it is, you can take a deep breath, let it go, and surrender it to God. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. God never asked you to fix everything. He simply asked you to trust Him. So, what happens when you let go of worry and embrace peace instead? Everything begins to shift. When you make the decision to trust God with your worries, you make space for something incredible to happen. You begin to see things with a new perspective. You realize that the things you once stressed over were never yours to control in the first place. You start to experience peace, not just in the absence of problems, but in the presence of God's unwavering faithfulness. Peace creates the space for divine timing. You've spent so much time trying to control things, trying to make things happen on your schedule, trying to force doors open. But chosen one, God's timing is perfect. The moment you stop worrying, stop forcing, and start trusting, you align yourself with His divine timing. The more you let go, the more you make space for God's plan to unfold in your life. Worry tells you that you need to rush, that you're falling behind. But peace reminds you that God is always on time, and His timing is always perfect. There is no need to rush. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The truth is, chosen one, you've been carrying so much weight that wasn't meant for you, and today, heaven is inviting you to lay it down. When you let go of worry, you are making room for divine order to take its place. Letting go activates divine order. The moment you surrender, everything begins to fall into place. The pieces of your life, the unanswered prayers, the things you've been striving for, they begin to come together in ways that only God can orchestrate. You are stepping into divine alignment, where everything is working together for your good, in His perfect timing. God has been waiting for you to release the things that have been weighing you down. He's been waiting for you to let go of the fear, the anxiety, and the need to control. The moment you surrender, everything shifts. The delay wasn't God holding out on you, it was a time of preparation. You've been being shaped, refined, and made ready for the blessings and opportunities that are now about to unfold. And when you embrace peace, you give yourself the ability to see the divine timing at work in your life. Every moment of stillness is a victory. When you stop panicking, when you stop trying to fix things on your own, you win. You win the battle of trust, of surrender, of faith. Stillness is spiritual warfare. It is not a passive act. It is an active choice to step into faith and stop striving. In those moments of stillness, heaven begins to move. You might not see it, but behind the scenes, angels are working, connections are being made, and God is aligning everything for your good. In those moments of peace, chosen one, you begin to tap into the power of heaven's rhythm. You are no longer out of sync with the flow of divine timing. You begin to move in alignment with God's perfect will, and everything starts to fall into place. There is no more struggle. There is no more striving. You're walking in divine peace, and that peace is the thing that moves mountains. Peace is not just the absence of worry, it's the presence of God's power. When you choose peace, you choose to lean on God's power instead of your own. You choose to trust that He is working, even when you can't see it. You choose to rest in the assurance that He has a plan for your life, and that plan is far better than anything you could have orchestrated on your own. Chosen one, let this be a season of rest. Let this be a season where you give up the need to control, where you give up the need to make things happen, and you surrender to God's perfect timing. Your peace is the weapon that defeats anxiety. It is the strength that carries you through the storms. It is the thing that holds you steady when everything around you is shaking. And when you choose peace, you align yourself with God's divine plan for your life. You don't have to worry about your future, your finances, your relationships, or your purpose. God already has it under control. He's been working behind the scenes, setting everything in motion, aligning everything for your good. And when you release the worry, you make space for Him to move in powerful ways. You're not behind schedule. Heaven sees your heart, and heaven sees the work that has been done in you. You are exactly where you need to be, and everything is being realigned perfectly for the next step in your journey. The waiting season was not wasted, it was preparation. And now, you are stepping into the fullness of God's promises for you, chosen one. As you reflect on the path that has brought you here, I want you to take a moment and realize something powerful. The very things that felt like obstacles in your journey have actually been the tools that God has used to shape you. You may have felt misunderstood, out of place, or even rejected by those around you, but I want to tell you this today. Those feelings, those experiences were not signs of failure. They were signs of your calling. You've felt different, haven't you? You've sensed that you don't quite fit into the world's mold. You've often felt like an outsider, like you didn't belong to the same rhythm everyone else was dancing to. And for so long, you might have tried to force yourself into places and spaces where you didn't feel at peace, only to find yourself drained, exhausted, or spiritually misaligned. The truth is, that feeling of being different is proof of your calling. It's evidence that you were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were set apart to walk a path that only you can walk, to fulfill a purpose that only you can fulfill. And here's the thing about being set apart. It's often uncomfortable. It's often painful. The journey of the chosen is rarely a smooth one, and the process of becoming who God has destined you to be is never without challenge. The enemy, seeing the potential within you before you ever did, launched attacks early on. He recognized your destiny, even when you didn't. That's why your struggles, your setbacks, your moments of confusion and hurt felt so intense. It's because you've always been a target of spiritual warfare, not because you were weak, but because the enemy saw the power within you that God was about to awaken. I know it hasn't been easy. The pain you've endured, whether it was rejection, betrayal, or loss, may have felt unbearable at times. But let me remind you, what felt like punishment was actually preparation. Every hardship you've faced has been part of God's refining process. He allowed the pressure, not to destroy you, but to shape you into a vessel strong enough to carry the weight of your calling. Pain is a powerful teacher, chosen one. Pain was a classroom, a place where your spiritual muscles were built. It wasn't wasted. In the moments when it felt like you couldn't stand another day of hurt, something in you was being forged. Your resilience was being cultivated. And while others may not have seen it, you were learning deep lessons in those dark seasons. Betrayal sharpened your discernment. When people let you down, when the ones you trusted turned their backs on you, it wasn't just a blow to your heart, it was a refining moment. It was God showing you how to discern who truly belongs in your inner circle, who is worthy of your trust, and who needs to be kept at a distance. You became more discerning, more aware of the intentions of others. You learned the value of surrounding yourself with those who would build you up, not tear you down. Loss deepened your compassion. The grief you've felt, the relationships you've lost, and the things you've had to walk away from have not hardened you. They've softened your heart. They've given you a level of empathy and compassion that many others will never understand. You know what it feels like to hurt, and because of that, you are now able to love others in a way that reflects God's grace and mercy. Where some would turn away in fear or judgment, you can step in with a heart full of compassion, ready to walk alongside those who are struggling. Loneliness trained your spirit to hear God's whisper. The times when you felt the most isolated, when you thought no one understood your struggles, were actually the times when God was drawing you closer. He was teaching you how to hear His voice above the noise, how to find His peace in the midst of the storm. It's in the silence that you learn the deepest truths about who you are and who He is. It's in the quiet moments that you learn to lean on God, to trust His timing, and to rest in His presence. You were never broken, chosen one. You were being refined. You were being refined like gold and pressed like oil. The refining process is painful, but it's necessary. Just as gold is purified through fire, you have been purified through the trials you've faced. Each challenge, each setback, was a part of God's plan to make you stronger, to make you more resilient, and to prepare you for the purpose He has for you. There were seasons when it felt like no one saw your pain, no one understood your struggle. But God saw you. Seasons of invisibility were divine protection, not rejection. When you were hidden, when you felt like no one noticed your efforts, it wasn't because God had forgotten you, it was because He was protecting you. God knew that the timing wasn't right for you to be revealed to the world. He was protecting you from exposure before you were ready. And now, as you begin to step into your purpose, you will see that those hidden seasons were the very ones that equipped you to handle the challenges ahead. You couldn't take everyone into your promised land, chosen one. Separation is part of calling. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into the next chapter of your life. Some people, some relationships, some mindsets, you've outgrown them, and that's okay. It's part of God's divine plan. There were people you had to walk away from, situations you had to leave behind in order to step into the fullness of what God has for you. It may have hurt, but it was necessary. You've outgrown those old patterns, those old fears, and those old attachments because your assignment requires more room. God hid you to sharpen you. He isolated you to elevate you. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. He was keeping you safe from the distractions, the comparisons, and the voices that would have pulled you away from your purpose. He was doing a work inside of you that couldn't be done in the noise. And now that you've been refined, now that you've been strengthened, you are ready to walk into your calling. Your resilience, chosen one, is evidence that you carry something unstoppable. You've been through the fire, through the storms, and yet here you are. You didn't give up. You didn't turn away. You stood firm. And because of that, you are about to walk into a season of unimaginable blessings. Your story of survival, your story of overcoming, is just the beginning. The enemy thought he could break you. He thought he could defeat you. But look at you now, stronger, wiser, and more equipped to fulfill your purpose than ever before. Chosen one, I know that at times it feels like your journey has been marked by difficulty. The pain you've experienced, the betrayals, the losses, these moments have often left scars that you thought would never heal. But I want to remind you of something very important. Your scars are not a sign of defeat. They are proof of your strength. Each one is a testament to how far you've come, to the battles you've fought, and to the grace that has carried you through. And now, as you stand at this crossroads, I want you to see these scars, not as wounds, but as symbols of your victory. The enemy thought he could defeat you, but instead, he unknowingly helped shape you into the person you were always meant to become. Every attack, every moment when you felt like you couldn't go on, was actually God's refining fire. What the enemy meant for evil, God repurposed for good. Just like Joseph's story, what his brothers meant to harm him with, God used to elevate him to a position where he would not only save his family but an entire nation. Your story, chosen one, will be no different. When the enemy tried to destroy you, God used the situation to build you. Every hardship you faced, every storm you weathered, has sharpened your character and deepened your faith. You have been through the fire, and you've come out refined, purified, and stronger. Where others might have been broken, you have become unshakable. The storms didn't destroy you, they revealed you. Storms strip false security and strengthen spiritual foundations. The storms you've faced in your life have been a process of removal. What you once thought was important, what you once held on to for security, was stripped away so that only the solid foundation of your faith could remain. Those relationships, those habits, those mindsets that were not aligned with your true purpose, they were washed away in the storm. You were left with the truth of who you are in Christ. And now, you are standing on a foundation that cannot be moved. You have learned to pray in a way that is deeper, sharper, and more effective. You learned deeper prayer, sharper discernment, and greater trust. You've learned how to lean into God when the winds are howling, when the storm seems overwhelming. You've learned that when you have nothing else, you still have Him. And that is enough. Your relationship with God has deepened in a way that only hardship could produce. You've been tested, you've been tried, and now you can speak with authority because you have walked through the fire and come out victorious. Scars became wisdom, not wounds. The things that once caused you pain have now become the very tools God will use to help you reach others. The wounds of the past are no longer defining you. They are now sources of wisdom, places where God has healed you so that you can go on to heal others. The story of your survival, the story of your overcoming, is a testimony of God's faithfulness. And now it is your weapon. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are proof of the strength you now carry. They are proof that you are more than a survivor. You are a conqueror, equipped to lead others out of their own pain and into the fullness of God's grace. You may have felt unseen in your suffering, but let me assure you, God saw every tear, every cry, every moment of pain, and He was with you every step of the way. The enemy wanted you to believe that your pain was pointless, that you were being punished. But that's not the truth. The truth is, your pain was never a punishment, it was preparation. It was God's way of refining you, of teaching you to lean on Him, of teaching you to trust His timing and His ways. He saw the cost of your obedience. He saw the cost of your faith, and He honored it. The pruning process, though painful, was necessary to prepare you for what lies ahead. As you step into the next season of your life, you will begin to see the fruit of what God has been doing in you all along. The pain you've endured will become the place where others find healing. Your scars will be the testimony that shows others the way out of their own darkness. You are walking in a calling that has been shaped through your pain. And now, as you step into your purpose, you will see how everything you went through was not wasted. It was all part of God's plan to refine you, to strengthen you, and to equip you to do the work He has set before you. You weren't broken, you were being refined like gold and pressed like oil. Gold must go through fire to become pure, and oil must be pressed to release its fragrance. So too, God has been purifying you. The pressure, the heat, the isolation, it wasn't meant to crush you. It was meant to release the beauty that lies within you. The beauty of His character, His calling, His grace, and His love. You were pressed, and now you are being poured out for others. What you went through was not in vain. It was a necessary part of your process. Seasons of invisibility were not rejection, they were divine protection. God hid you, not because He wanted to keep you from your purpose, but because He was preparing you for it. He was preparing you to carry the weight of your calling. He was preparing you to step into your destiny at just the right moment. You weren't overlooked, you were hidden for a purpose. And now, the time has come for you to step into the light. You can't take everyone into your promised land. Separation is part of calling. Not everyone can walk with you into your destiny. Some people, no matter how much you love them, are not meant to walk with you into the fullness of what God has prepared for you. There were people you had to walk away from, situations you had to let go of, in order to step into the life that God has for you. Separation isn't rejection, it's elevation. And as you walk forward, you will see that the people, patterns, and fears you once carried with you were not meant to go where God is taking you. You've outgrown them, and now you are stepping into a space that is designed for your unique calling. God hid you to sharpen you. He isolated you to elevate you. It may have felt like abandonment, but in reality, it was divine protection. God knew that if He allowed you to remain in certain situations, you would not have been able to fully step into your calling. He had to remove distractions, remove the wrong influences, and refine you in the hidden places. But now, as you step forward, you will see that the isolation was not rejection, it was preparation. Your resilience is now evidence that you carry something unstoppable. You are no longer the person who feared failure or walked in insecurity. You have been refined, strengthened, and empowered by the challenges you faced. And now, as you stand on the other side of those trials, you are ready to walk into your purpose. You are ready to carry the authority that comes with your calling. You are unstoppable, chosen one, and the world will soon see the fruit of your obedience, your endurance, and your unwavering faith. Chosen one, I want to start by reminding you of something that's crucial as you move forward. What feels like delay is actually divine synchronization. I know, at times, it feels like you're behind, like your life is unfolding slower than you expected, and perhaps you've even started to believe that you've missed your chance. But I want to challenge you to shift your perspective today. Waiting is not wasted. It is sacred preparation. You are not behind schedule, and every moment of pause has been a divine opportunity for growth, alignment, and positioning. So often, we look at our lives in terms of deadlines and timelines set by the world, and it makes us anxious. We measure success by our age, by the stages of life others seem to be in, and by societal expectations. But heaven doesn't operate on the world's timeline. Your story was written before you were born, and everything you've gone through has been part of God's perfect timing. You are not improvising. You are unfolding. Every season of your life has been part of the preparation for the breakthrough that is about to unfold. You may not see it yet, but this waiting period is crucial to the foundation of your future success. Waiting isn't easy, I understand that. You've prayed, you've hoped, you've trusted, and yet the answers seem slow in coming. Maybe you've prayed for healing, for restoration, for breakthrough, and it feels like heaven is silent. But what you may not realize is that silence is not absence. God works most deeply in hidden seasons. The quiet, the moments when nothing seems to move, are often the times when God is doing His most important work in you. Think about how seeds grow. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't see its growth immediately. The roots first grow underground, unseen by the naked eye. It's only after those roots are firmly established that the plant begins to push through the soil. Your roots were growing out of sight. In the same way, God has been strengthening you, fortifying your spirit, and aligning your life behind the scenes, even when it seemed like nothing was happening. The growth you couldn't see is the preparation you needed for the future that's unfolding before you now. This is the beauty of divine timing, chosen one. What feels like a detour is often a divine reroute. The wrong turns you've taken, the paths that seemed uncertain, have actually positioned you exactly where God wants you to be. What appeared to be setbacks were, in fact, realignments. They were God's way of preparing you for something bigger, something better, something in perfect alignment with His plan. You weren't denied. You were being prepared for what would overwhelm you too early. What you thought was a detour was actually a divine reroute. Every moment that felt wasted, every time you felt like you were running in place, God was orchestrating something behind the scenes that would eventually open the right doors at the right time. During the waiting season, God is not idle. He's aligning connections, relationships, opportunities, and circumstances, preparing everything so that when the time is right, everything will fall into place. You are exactly where you need to be. And though you may not see it now, the unseen connections and alignments happening in the spirit are real and are working together to bring you into your purpose. Silence is not absence. It's the soil where growth happens, where God works in hidden places to prepare you for the big reveal. In seasons of silence, when you're waiting for the breakthrough to come, God is doing more than you can see. He's strengthening your foundation, fortifying your faith, and working on your heart so that you can handle what's coming next. Waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means God is doing the deep, invisible work that will ensure you can sustain the breakthrough when it comes. God doesn't just give us what we want, He prepares us to receive it. Seeds grow underground. Your roots have been developing out of sight, but now, as the season shifts, you will begin to see the fruit of that hidden growth. It won't happen all at once, and it won't always look how you expect it to. But when the breakthrough comes, it will be clear that it was worth the wait. Every moment you thought was a pause was actually preparation for the incredible things that are on the horizon. And this brings me to another important aspect of waiting. Heaven prunes what cannot go into your next chapter. The delays, the detours, and the closed doors were not signs that God was withholding from you. They were divine protection. God has been removing things that couldn't go with you into your next season: habits, mindsets, relationships, and even old versions of yourself. You might have felt the sting of these things being taken away, but understand this. What was pruned was not meant to go with you into your next chapter. Pruning is painful, but it's essential for growth. God is not removing things out of malice or to cause you pain. He is removing what is unnecessary for the vision He has for your life. He is making room for the new things to take root, for the new opportunities to unfold, and for your true calling to take center stage. What felt like loss was actually divine preparation. And as you step into this new season, you will see the fruit of the pruning in your life. You will see things that once weighed you down or held you back fall away, making room for the new opportunities, relationships, and blessings that are aligned with your destiny. Waiting builds endurance, depth, and spiritual strength. I know that in the moment, it feels like the waiting is the hardest part. The waiting feels like a time of inactivity, when nothing is moving and your prayers seem unheard. But in truth, waiting is a time of strength building. It's where you build the endurance needed to carry the weight of the blessings that are coming. You are being tested, yes, but you are also being strengthened. God is developing your spiritual muscles so that when the moment arrives, you will be able to stand firm, walk in confidence, and carry the weight of His promises with grace. Patience, chosen one, is prophetic. Every moment you wait with trust, every moment you surrender your timing to God, you are aligning yourself with divine timing. The waiting is not wasted. It is sacred preparation. Every moment you trust God's timing, heaven moves closer to manifestation. You may not see the progress immediately, but trust that God is working behind the scenes, aligning everything perfectly for the right moment. The delays are part of the process, and they are preparing you to step into a season of fullness, abundance, and divine purpose. Chosen one, I want to continue by reminding you of the importance of divine timing in this season. You see, while waiting may feel like a time of stagnation or inactivity, it is in fact one of the most sacred seasons of all. You are not behind. You are precisely where you need to be. Everything you've gone through, every delay, every season of waiting, every moment when you felt like you were falling behind was necessary to bring you into alignment with God's perfect will for your life. What seems like a delay is often divine synchronization. You may not see the pieces coming together in the moment, but trust me when I say that God is working behind the scenes. Heaven is aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities, and although you may not always see it, every delay, every detour, has been a divine reroute to get you where you need to go. You are being aligned with your purpose, not by your own efforts, but by God's perfect plan. Detours are divine reroutes. Have you ever felt like you were going in the right direction, only to find that the path you thought was meant for you suddenly came to a dead end? Or, worse yet, it felt like a wrong turn, one that took you farther from your goals. I know it's frustrating. It's easy to feel like a failure when things don't go according to your plan, but remember this: God has been rerouting you all along. Those detours that felt like setbacks were actually part of the plan. They were not mistakes, they were divine redirections. Every time you hit an obstacle or a closed door, it was God gently guiding you to the place where you will thrive. Think about how GPS works. It recalculates when you take a wrong turn. It doesn't condemn you. It simply directs you on the right path again. In the same way, when things seem off course, God is recalculating the path for you. You might not understand it in the moment, but looking back, you will see that every detour, every closed door, was part of a divine orchestration to lead you to the right place at the right time. Silence is not absence. Many times, we feel like we're waiting on God, but it feels like He's distant or silent. The silence can feel heavy, like a void, a space where we're not sure what's happening or if God is even paying attention. But I want you to know this: silence is not absence. In fact, it is in those silent moments that God works most deeply in our hearts. It is in the quiet that He refines our character, deepens our trust, and prepares us for what is to come. God doesn't need to be loud to be effective. He doesn't need to announce every step of the way. His silence doesn't mean He's absent. It simply means that He's working in ways you can't yet see. His absence is not a sign of His neglect. His silence is a space of preparation. And in this time, while you wait for the external to shift, God is making internal adjustments that are crucial for your growth, and your ability to carry the blessings He's preparing for you. Seeds grow first underground. Think about a seed planted in the ground. It doesn't immediately sprout above the soil. For a time, it remains hidden. It's in the unseen seasons that the roots are growing, deepening, and expanding. And so it is with your life, chosen one. While it may seem like you're not making progress, what's really happening is that your roots are being strengthened. You are being deepened in faith, in wisdom, and in patience. The growth is happening beneath the surface. You are being prepared for what will eventually break through. The beauty of growth is that it isn't always visible in the moment. The foundation is often the most important part of the process. The deeper your roots grow, the stronger your ability to withstand the storms and challenges that will come your way. When the moment arrives for you to step into your calling, the strength that you've gained in this hidden season will allow you to flourish. And when you bloom, you will bloom with strength that no storm can uproot. Heaven prunes what cannot go into your next chapter. You may have felt like you were being cut back, like certain things in your life were being removed in ways that felt painful. But God's pruning is not punishment, it is preparation. He is removing what can't go with you into the next chapter of your life. The things that once seemed important, the relationships that were draining you, the habits that were holding you back, God is removing them so that you can step into a new season with freedom and clarity. Pruning is necessary for growth. It may feel uncomfortable, but it is essential. Without pruning, the tree cannot grow stronger, cannot bear more fruit. Without pruning, you cannot move forward into the new season God has prepared for you. So, if you felt like things are being cut off, if you felt the sting of loss, know that it is God making room for something greater. He is removing what cannot go with you so that you can receive the full measure of what He has in store. Waiting builds endurance, depth, and spiritual strength. It's easy to assume that when nothing seems to be happening, nothing is moving. But the truth is, waiting builds endurance. When you wait with patience, when you continue to trust, even when nothing seems to be changing, you are building the strength necessary for what's ahead. This season is building spiritual muscles in you, chosen one. It's teaching you to trust when you can't see the full picture. It's teaching you to persevere, even when it feels like nothing is happening. The endurance you gain in waiting will carry you through the storms and challenges ahead. It will prepare you for the breakthrough that is coming. And when you finally step into the promises of God, you will find that the endurance you developed in the waiting season will enable you to stand firm and walk confidently in the fullness of your purpose. When nothing seems to move, heaven is aligning connections, timing, and opportunities. You may feel like you're standing still, waiting for something to happen, but behind the scenes, heaven is at work. God is orchestrating the perfect timing, aligning the right people and the right opportunities for you to step into your destiny. The pieces of the puzzle are falling into place, and though you can't see it yet, everything is coming together in perfect harmony. God is always at work, even when you can't see it. His timing is never off. He's preparing the hearts of those who will be part of your journey. He's opening doors at the right time, not a moment too soon, and not a moment too late. Everything in your life is being divinely synchronized to bring you into alignment with your purpose. Divine timing withdraws like the tide before it returns with power. Sometimes, when it feels like everything has stalled, it's like the tide pulling back. But remember, chosen one, the tide always returns with greater force. When you feel like nothing is moving, God is simply preparing you for a powerful surge forward. You are not being denied. You are being prepared. When the tide returns, it will come with greater momentum, and it will carry you into the season of fulfillment that you've been waiting for. Chosen one, as you stand in this season of growth and transformation, I want to remind you of something essential. Storms do not destroy the chosen. Storms reveal them. You've faced more than your fair share of challenges, hardship, rejection, loss, and moments where you wondered if you would make it through. But the truth is, these storms didn't break you. They revealed who you are in God. They revealed your strength, your resilience, and your deep connection to Him. God uses hardship not to harm you, but to refine you, to build you, and to prepare you for something greater. And through every storm you've weathered, God has been with you, protecting you, and strengthening you for what's to come. There were times when the storm felt unbearable, when you thought you couldn't take another step, but God was right there beside you, guiding you through it, shielding you from what would have destroyed you. You survived situations that should have broken you, because you were protected. There were moments when you thought you wouldn't make it, when the weight of the world was pressing down on you, and yet, somehow, you are still standing. You've been through things that would have broken others, but you're still here, chosen one. That's not by chance, it's by divine protection. God has assigned angels to watch over you, to shield you from the things that would have overwhelmed you, and to guide you through the darkest moments. Every heartbreak you experienced was not just a painful loss, it was a hidden exchange. Your comfort for your calling. Your comfort when you suffered, when you gave up your own desires, your own security, for something greater. God was using those moments to align you with your destiny. The pain you endured wasn't wasted. It was a necessary part of the process that brought you into alignment with the fullness of your purpose. And though the enemy may have meant it for evil, God has used every trial, every heartbreak, and every disappointment for your good. What the enemy meant for evil, God repurposed for good. The enemy thought he could defeat you with your suffering. He thought he could break you, derail you, and steal your purpose. But what the enemy failed to realize is that God has the power to turn every evil intention, every setback, and every struggle into a stepping stone for your destiny. Just like Joseph, who was betrayed, abandoned, and wrongfully imprisoned, God used the pain and the suffering to elevate him to a position of power and influence. Your suffering is not a sign of God's absence, it's proof of His sovereignty and His ability to use everything for His glory and for your good. Storms strip false security and strengthen spiritual foundations. When everything you thought was secure is shaken, when relationships, finances, or plans fall apart, it forces you to dig deeper into your faith. The storm reveals what is truly important. It strips away the false comforts, the things you relied on for security, and forces you to rely solely on God. And that's when the real growth happens. It's when everything else fades away that you are left with the unshakable foundation of God's love, promises, and faithfulness. When the storm passes, you realize that you're not just standing, you're stronger. You've been strengthened by the very thing that tried to break you. You've developed a deeper level of trust in God. The foundation of your faith has been built on the rock, and nothing in this world can shake it. You've learned to stand firm in the storm, to keep your eyes fixed on God, knowing that He is your refuge, your stronghold, and your protector. You learn deeper prayer, sharper discernment, and greater trust. The storm teaches you to pray in ways you've never prayed before. When you're in the midst of a trial, your prayers shift. They move from casual requests to desperate cries for help. In those moments, God draws you closer to Him. You learn to pray with authority, with faith, and with a deep trust that God hears you. The storm teaches you to listen more carefully to the voice of God, to discern His will in the midst of confusion, and to trust His leading when everything else seems uncertain. In the midst of the storm, God is teaching you how to rely on Him more deeply. Trust becomes your weapon. When nothing else makes sense, when everything around you seems to be falling apart, trust becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded. And as you trust, you grow stronger. Your relationship with God deepens, and you become more resilient, more spiritually mature. The storms refine your character, and the person who emerges from the storm is someone who walks in greater authority, greater wisdom, and greater faith. Scars became wisdom, not wounds. Chosen one, I know that some of your struggles have left deep scars. Scars from betrayal, rejection, loss, and heartache. But I want you to understand this. Those scars are not signs of defeat. They are proof of your victory. Every scar represents a battle fought, a battle won. Every scar is a testimony of God's faithfulness to carry you through. What once may have felt like a wound has now become a source of wisdom. Your scars are not reminders of the pain you've endured. They are testimonies of the strength you've gained. Through the trials, you've learned wisdom. You've learned how to navigate life with a deeper understanding of God's ways. You've gained insight into His character, His timing, and His purposes. And as you walk forward, you'll find that your scars are no longer places of hurt. They are places of healing. You will be able to help others walk through their own storms, to guide them through the same pain you've endured, and to lead them to the place of healing that you've found in God. Storms refined your character, deepened your faith, and awakened your authority. The trials you've faced have shaped you into the person you are today. They've refined your character, deepened your faith, and given you the authority to speak life into situations where others might give up. You are now equipped to carry the weight of your calling, not because of your own strength, but because of the strength God has built in you through every storm. The pain has led to purpose. The struggle has led to spiritual authority. And here's the beauty of this season, chosen one. The place where you bled will become the place others are healed through your testimony. The scars you carry are not just reminders of your past, they are markers of the healing God has brought to you. And now, as you step into this new season, you will use your testimony to bring healing to others. Your story will become the light that guides them through their own darkness. You will become a beacon of hope for those who are still walking through the storms you've already survived. God did not remove the storm from your life, chosen one. He didn't take away the struggle, the pain, or the hardship. But He did something even greater. He built strength inside you to stand through it. He made you unshakable, unmovable, and firmly grounded in His love and His purpose for you. You are not defined by the storms you've faced. You are defined by the fact that you are still standing, still moving forward, and still trusting in God's promises. And that, chosen one, is what makes you unstoppable. Chosen one, I want to bring you deeper into the reality of God's protection and provision through every storm you've faced. You see, the storms didn't just refine you, they revealed you. They didn't just test you, they proved your faith. Every moment of hardship was a moment of divine protection, though it may not have felt that way at the time. And now, as you look back, you will begin to see the full scope of God's hand in your life, guiding you, shielding you, and strengthening you for what lies ahead. You never fought alone. I want you to hear that with every part of your heart. You never fought alone. Even when you felt isolated, when you felt like no one understood your struggles, you were never alone. God assigned angels to protect you, to guard you, and to fight on your behalf. In every battle you faced, whether emotional, mental, or physical, God was with you. His angels were working behind the scenes, protecting you from the things you couldn't see, shielding you from the forces that sought to destroy you. You might not have seen the angels at work, chosen one, but they were there, assigned to you by heaven's command. And I want to remind you today that they are still with you. They have not left. They have been with you through every trial, every heartache, and every moment of doubt. They have been sent by God to guard and protect you, to keep you in the palm of His hand, and to guide you safely through the storms. Every heartbreak, every wound, every pain you've experienced has been a hidden exchange, your comfort for your calling. You see, God doesn't always protect us from pain. He doesn't always remove the storm. Sometimes, He allows us to walk through it. But here's the truth. He doesn't leave us to face the storm alone. He walks with us through it. He uses the pain as a process of purification and purpose. Every storm you've walked through has prepared you for your calling. It has made you more resilient, more compassionate, more strong in the spirit. In the midst of the pain, you may have asked, "Why is this happening? Why do I have to go through this?" But the answer is this: God allowed the storms to shape you. What the enemy meant for evil, God repurposed for good. You see, what the enemy intended to destroy you with, God used to strengthen you. Every time the enemy tried to break you, God used that as an opportunity to build you. What felt like an attack on your life was actually a divine setup for your purpose. Storms strip false security and strengthen spiritual foundations. The beauty of walking through storms is that it strips away everything that isn't necessary for your purpose. The comforts, the distractions, and the false securities that you relied on were exposed for what they were: temporary and fragile. The storm tore away those things so that what remained was solid and unshakable. Your faith, your trust in God, and your unwavering belief that He is good even in the hardest times. When the storm rages, we often look for shelter in external things: people, possessions, achievements. But when everything is stripped away, you realize that the only foundation that cannot be shaken is your relationship with God. Your foundation is now built on the rock, on the Word of God, on His promises to you. And that foundation is unshakable. The storms have tested that foundation and shown you that, no matter how strong the winds blow, your faith in God remains firm. You learn deeper prayer, sharper discernment, greater trust. The storms have taught you how to pray in ways you never knew you could. When everything seemed out of control, when you felt powerless, you learned to cry out to God with more passion, with more faith, and with a deeper trust in His power. The storms didn't diminish your faith, they deepened it. You've learned to hear God's voice more clearly, to discern His will in the midst of the noise, and to trust Him even when you don't have all the answers. Trust, chosen one, is your greatest weapon in the storm. When you trusted God in the midst of uncertainty, when you chose to believe that He was working behind the scenes, even when you couldn't see it, you activated heaven's power on your behalf. The storm was not just a test of your faith, it was a refining process. It was a process that shaped you into someone who could walk in spiritual authority, someone who could bring peace into the storm, because you've experienced the peace that comes from trusting God through it all. Scars became wisdom, not wounds. I know it's hard to see sometimes, but the scars you carry are not reminders of the pain you've endured. They are symbols of your victory. Every scar represents a battle fought and won, a storm weathered with God's help. Your scars tell the story of a God who never left you, who never gave up on you, and who used every painful moment to build something beautiful in your life. What was once a wound is now a place of healing, wisdom, and strength. You have been refined by the fire, and now you can walk through the world as a living testimony of God's faithfulness. The place where you bled will become the place others are healed through your testimony. Your story, your experiences, your scars, these are the very things that will bring healing to others. You've been through the fire, and now you will be a light for those who are still in it. Your testimony is not just about the pain you've endured. It's about how God used that pain to bring you to a place of healing, strength, and purpose. And now, through your story, others will find healing. Your testimony will bring hope to the hopeless, encouragement to the discouraged, and strength to the weak. God did not remove the storm. He built strength inside you to stand through it. Chosen one, understand this. God didn't promise to remove all the storms from your life, but He promised to walk through them with you. And as you've walked through these storms, God has been building something in you: strength, resilience, faith, and authority to not only survive, but to thrive. The storms have revealed your true strength. They've revealed that you are capable of standing firm, no matter what life throws at you. They've shown you that you are not just surviving, you are overcoming. And now, you are walking into a season where you'll walk in the authority that God has been building in you. Chosen one, I want you to understand that the journey you've been on, the seasons of waiting, the storms you've weathered, and the struggles you've faced, they have all been leading to this moment. The refining is ending, and the revealing is beginning. You are stepping into your crown season, The moment when everything God has been working in you starts to become visible to the world. You've been through the fire, you've endured the process, and now you are rising into radiance. This is the season where you move from survival into spiritual royalty. You might not feel like royalty, I understand. There have been times when you felt small, insignificant, or unseen. But now, as God elevates you, you will begin to understand that your life is not about the circumstances around you, it's about who you are becoming in Him. Peace is not passive, it is a weapon that silences fear. As you step into this new season, peace will become your armor. It's not the absence of challenges or difficulties, but the presence of trust in God's sovereignty. You will walk with a calm confidence that nothing can shake, because you know that the one who holds the world also holds you. You have walked through seasons where fear and doubt tried to grab hold of your heart. But now, as you embrace peace, you will begin to experience a supernatural authority. Fear has no place in your life any longer. The enemy thought he could derail you with distractions, doubts, and lies. But you are walking in the fullness of God's peace, which will silence the voice of fear. You will no longer be moved by the chaos around you, because you will be anchored in the peace that comes from knowing that God is in control. Faith is heaven's currency. Chosen one, I want you to understand that every step of faith you've taken has been noticed by heaven. Every moment you trusted God, even when you couldn't see the outcome, was a moment that activated divine movement. Heaven moves when you act in faith. Your faith is the key to unlocking the fullness of what God has in store for you. Every act of trust activates divine movement. Every time you let go of your own understanding and trusted God with your life, heaven responded. But as you rise into your crown season, this faith will be tested in new ways. The trust you've built, the foundation you've established, will allow you to step into new opportunities, new seasons of influence, and new levels of purpose. Your faith will be the driving force that propels you forward. It will allow you to walk in the authority God has already given you. You will begin to see things in a new light because you've learned to trust God when it didn't make sense. Now, as you step into this new season, you will see how everything aligns in His perfect timing. Angels guard you, guide you, and walk with you through unseen realms. As you rise into this new level of purpose, you are not alone. Heaven is with you. God has assigned angels to watch over you, to guard you, and to help guide you along the way. You may not always see them, but they are working behind the scenes, preparing the way, clearing obstacles, and protecting you from spiritual attacks. These angels are not just passive observers, they are active participants in your journey. They are working on your behalf, ensuring that God's will is carried out in your life. There have been moments when you felt overwhelmed, when it seemed like everything was too much. But in those moments, heaven was at work. Angels were covering you, providing for you, and protecting you from things you couldn't even see. They have been with you every step of the way, and as you move forward, they will continue to guide you, help you, and strengthen you for what's ahead. Revelation arrives after endurance. Chosen one, the journey you've been on hasn't been easy. The waiting, the testing, the silence. You've been through seasons where it felt like you couldn't see the way forward. But now, as you step into this new season, the fog of confusion will lift into clarity. What once seemed uncertain, what once felt confusing, will suddenly make perfect sense. You've endured, you've been patient, and now you will begin to see the reasons behind the delays, the purpose behind the struggles, and the beauty that was being shaped in you through every trial. The revelation that you've been waiting for is coming. The clarity you've longed for is about to unfold. God's plan for your life has always been perfect, but in the waiting seasons, you needed to develop the strength, the patience, and the clarity to handle it. Now, as you move into this season of fulfillment, the mysteries will be revealed, the pieces will begin to fall into place, and you will understand how every step, every season, and every choice led you to this moment. What once felt senseless now makes perfect sense. Chosen one, I know you've spent time wondering why certain things didn't work out, why some doors closed, or why things didn't go according to plan. But as you rise into your new season, you will begin to see how everything fit together. The things that once seemed like setbacks will reveal themselves as setups for something better. Every struggle, every season of waiting, every challenge has been a part of your preparation for the breakthrough that is now unfolding. Nothing was wasted. God has used everything for His glory and for your good. You were being shaped into a vessel of light. Every moment of hardship, every moment of testing has been shaping you into someone who can carry the light of Christ into the world. You have been forged in the fire, and now you are being revealed. Your light is not just for you, it is meant to shine for others. You are a vessel, chosen one, to carry the peace, the love, and the grace of God into the world. The light within you disrupts darkness, and as you walk forward in your purpose, you will begin to see that your life has the power to bring transformation to those around you. Your compassion, your story, your presence will bring healing to others. Your story becomes a beacon of hope. As you rise into the fullness of your calling, you will see how your life becomes a living testimony of God's faithfulness. Your journey, your resilience, and your faith will be the thing that inspires others to keep going, to keep trusting, and to keep believing that they too can rise out of their struggles. Chosen one, as you step into this new season of radiance, it's important to understand the divine truth that this is your crown season. The refining, the waiting, the struggle, it has all led you to this moment. Now, as you rise into the fulfillment of your purpose, you are not just stepping into blessings, you are stepping into a new level of spiritual royalty. The crown you are about to wear is not one of human achievement. It is one of divine trust, spiritual authority, and eternal purpose. Peace is not passive, it is a weapon that silences fear. As you walk into this new season, I want you to understand that peace isn't just the absence of conflict, it is the presence of trust in God's control. You will walk through life's challenges, but now, you walk with an inner peace that cannot be shaken. Fear has no place in this season. Your peace will silence every voice of doubt and anxiety that rises up against you. Peace is your spiritual weapon, chosen one. It will guard your heart and mind, and it will keep you grounded no matter what comes your way. When you choose peace, you choose to trust that God is in control. It's no longer about fighting or striving for control, it's about surrender. The storms will come, but you will stand firm in peace, knowing that you are covered by God's grace and power. The enemies of fear, insecurity, and doubt will try to creep in, but your peace will be your shield. Peace is your weapon, and with it, you will walk through the challenges with confidence, knowing that God is right by your side. Faith is heaven's currency. Chosen one, your faith has already unlocked so much in the spiritual realm. Every act of trust you've shown has been heaven's currency, the key that activates divine movement. When you step into your crown season, you step into a new level of faith. Your faith will no longer be the quiet, timid trust it once was. It will be a bold faith, one that commands the heavens to move. With your faith, you will speak to mountains, and those mountains will move. With your faith, you will declare God's promises over your life, and heaven will respond. In this season, you will not walk in fear of failure. You will walk in faith, knowing that God is making a way where there seems to be no way. And with each step you take, heaven will move with you. Every act of trust activates divine movement. You are walking in agreement with God's will for your life, and when you do that, there is nothing that can stop you. The power of faith is now at work in you, and you will see the manifestation of what you've been praying for. Angels guard you, guide you, and walk with you through unseen realms. Chosen one, you are not alone in this. You have an entire army of angels walking with you. God has assigned angels to watch over you, to guard your path, and to guide you through unseen realms. Their assignment is clear. They are here to protect you, to help you navigate this season of divine elevation, and to ensure that God's plan unfolds perfectly in your life. I know there were times when you felt alone, like no one understood what you were going through. But in those moments, angels were surrounding you. When you felt the weight of the world on your shoulders, God sent his heavenly hosts to hold you up, to carry you when you couldn't carry yourself. Now, as you walk into this new season, you will feel their presence more than ever. They are with you, ready to help you fulfill the call of God on your life. You are never alone, chosen one. Heaven is with you every step of the way. Revelation arrives after endurance. Chosen one, you've been waiting for a long time. You've been in seasons of uncertainty, seasons when you wondered if your prayers were ever going to be answered. But now, as you step into this crown season, revelation is arriving. The confusion, the questions, the doubt, they are being lifted. The fog of confusion lifts into clarity. Everything you've gone through is now coming into focus. What once seemed like random detours, what once seemed like mistakes, is now being woven together into a beautiful tapestry of God's perfect plan. You will begin to see how every part of your story fits together. The pieces that didn't make sense before will now align in a way that only God could orchestrate. What once felt senseless will now make perfect sense. Nothing was wasted. Every moment of hardship, every season of waiting, and every test has been part of your preparation. And now, you will see how God has been moving in your life. Even in the moments when it seemed like nothing was happening, God's plan has always been unfolding. Even when you couldn't see it, you were being shaped into a vessel of light. Chosen one, this is the moment when you begin to fully understand your purpose. You were not just going through the motions. You were being shaped, refined, and prepared to be a vessel of light in this world. Your life was never meant to be ordinary. It was always meant to shine brightly, to bring hope and healing to others. In this season of fulfillment, you will rise in your divine identity. You will walk into rooms, and your very presence will shift the atmosphere. Your light will disrupt darkness. You will bring peace to chaos, love to hatred, and healing to brokenness. Your compassion will heal others, and your story will be the beacon of hope that leads others to Christ. Your story becomes a beacon of hope. Chosen one, you may have thought that your journey was meant for you alone, but the truth is, your life, your story, your struggles are meant to inspire others. Every time you walked through fire and came out stronger, you became a living testimony of God's faithfulness. Now, your testimony will be the light that guides others through their own darkness. You are stepping into a season where your life will shine brighter than ever, not for your own glory, but to reflect the glory of God. Divine alignment brings you into the season where promises manifest. The waiting, the pruning, the refinement, it all leads to this moment. You are stepping into alignment with God's perfect plan. The timing is right. The pieces are falling into place. What once seemed impossible is now becoming your reality. The promises you've been praying for, the dreams you've carried in your heart, are now beginning to manifest. The season of waiting is over, and the season of fulfillment is here. Heaven crowns overcomers, not the comfortable. Chosen one, you are not here by accident. You are here because you have overcome. You have endured the storms, the trials, the tests, and now, you are being crowned. This crown is not one of comfort or convenience. It's the crown of someone who has fought, who has stood firm, and who has trusted God through it all. And now, as you step into this new season, you will wear it with pride, knowing that every hardship, every battle, and every trial was worth it. Your crown is the reward for your faithfulness, your endurance, and your trust in God's plan. Your endurance has earned spiritual authority. Your crown season is here. Chosen one, this is your time. The endurance you have shown through the years has not only brought you to this point, it has earned you the spiritual authority to walk into your destiny with power and confidence. You are no longer just walking through life. You are walking in the authority that God has given you. The crown you wear is not a symbol of your past struggles, but a mark of the spiritual authority that comes with your obedience and endurance. Now, you will walk boldly in your purpose, knowing that the crown you wear is a reflection of the power and authority God has placed in your life. Thank you so much for joining us on this divine journey today. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We want to keep spreading these life-changing insights to those who need it the most. Your support helps us reach more people, and together, we can create a wave of transformation that will ripple across the world. If you're ready to embrace the transformation that's unfolding in your life, let us know in the comments below. Remember, your breakthrough is coming, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Stay aligned, stay faith-filled, and see you in the next video.